When the entire barrel of apples is rotten, you can make moonshine or compost, but not apple pie, at least until the saplings bear new fruit. Yeah, so true. So this was a response. I think maybe you were the one I responded to. I didn't look close enough. About not burning it all down. I get what you're saying. I do. When it, because it's true. When it's so, and it is. It's infected through and through. I guess I more meant that the basics of our Constitution can still hold. Obviously, there's many things that need to be eliminated. I guess I just meant the basic, written part of the Constitution. Because I really think if that would have been followed, but you have to have people that respect it, right? And we have so many people at all layers, not just in government, but lobbyists, associations. I bring them up. Those are the ones that worry me the most. That's probably why I bring them up a lot. And here's why. Because, yeah, you can eventually these people get arrested. They will. I mean, there's enough people that know of their crimes, okay, especially Agenda 2030, all that. But there's a lot of people that got on board with Agenda 2030 that you can't technically, charge them with any crimes, right? So those people are really at your professors. Maybe some of them you could, but likely all you really can do, even if they push their Marxist agenda, is have them fired or, hold the school's the school to account for. And obviously the ones pushing the transgenderism on children, that's grooming. There should be charges, legal, criminal charges against that. But as far as that, or like the nursing associations, these organizations that have all these lobbyists. So these people that are heading these up, many of them, it's like, yeah, they got on board with Agenda 2030. And there's no way they don't know it, because they've written about it. I've read enough. They know what they're going along with. They just word it so, perfectly. I mean, people need to remember that we never locked down so that people wouldn't get COVID. It was never about that. If you go back and you look at the very early days of that, it was never about you not getting COVID. It was about not overwhelming the healthcare system. That's why everybody else was deemed non-essential. Right? And yet that was a red flag to me too, because 20 years ago I thought, wait a minute, we would have never heard, our healthcare system can handle a lot. So clearly the leadership that's running hospitals, I mean the CEOs and the heads of our nursing organizations and medical associations are poor leaders, because as time goes on, our healthcare system obviously should not be weaker. Yet then those same people support open borders. Now they're hiding that, but they did. I still have the papers. Their papers they read, National Nurses United and all that, and it's this compassionate thing. Yeah, that makes no sense, because if you flood our borders, it overwhelms the healthcare system. So if in 2020 National Nurses United, American Nurses Association were carrying on about we have to protect the healthcare workers, we have to protect the healthcare system. It's fragile. Well, then you've really failed as leaders. Then it shouldn't be a fragile system, but it will become fragile, and it will become very corrupt when you merge all your hospitals into one, which they're currently continuing to do, which tells you they know what they're doing. They know what they're going along with, and they continue to stay on the path. But yet many of those people, you couldn't put them in jail, right? Because there's no criminal offense. So my biggest fear isn't the ones that have done criminally involved will go to jail, and I think they'll have the book thrown at them. But the ones that went along with Agenda 2030, but will get out of it by saying, well, I just, or there's no legal thing to do. Those are the ones that worry me, because they'll still keep those people in place, and those aren't people that should be in place. That's why I just like all the associations eliminated. And you can't eliminate them, so the best thing you can do is no longer allow them to have a seat at the table and ending lobbying. So that those are the people that worry me the most, is those stragglers that you can't send to jail, yet that hang out there. And if they were willing to get on board with Agenda 2030 and stay with it all this time, all these people that have been on board with that, then they shouldn't. I mean, they should all be noticed and not. I mean, that's what worries me, is the ones that don't go to jail. You know, still being the stragglers and somehow flying under the radar. And it's like, no, every single person needs to be shown that they went along with this, so that because otherwise, what you're saying is right. Everything is infected. So that, I mean, that worries me more than all these criminal acts, because the people that have criminally done things wrong, you can put them in jail. You know, that's an easy one, and a quick one, because I think that's why Trump has talked many times about quick trials, like not letting people drag this shit out for years and years. But it's the ones that border, that knew they were going along with something they shouldn't have, or at least, even if they didn't know, at this point they should. A year ago they should have known. If I'm able to figure out during 2020 something's wrong with the healthcare system, and it has nothing to do with it being fragile, but there's something way off because they're not going along with science. If I as a nurse know it's against science to push transgenderism on children, then all of these people that push this at the nursing and medical associations could say, well, no, this is what, no, they shouldn't. It's wrong. I just don't think there's anything you criminally can do to them. I don't think so. And so those stragglers are still out there. Those are the ones that concern me, because will they still be the people lobbying Congress? That's what worries me more than anything, is those people. Because as long as you have leadership like that at those levels, because it's not just a leadership problem at the presidency. It's a leadership problem in every institution, major institution, science, medicine, hospitals, nursing, physicians, teachers. That's if that is not addressed, I mean, and not just replacing people, but actually eliminating funding to so many of this, so that, because I'm afraid those same people will still stay there. And if they were willing to be jagoffs and go against science to begin with, then they'll do it again. They clearly shouldn't be in leadership, and I'm just afraid they'll squeak by. The other thing that worries me about with burning it down, okay, and it's why I said that in my last video, is that you have to realize that is what they want. And the reason they want that's the reason why the nursing profession supports open borders. They're just being a little quieter about it now, because they know it'll overwhelm the healthcare system. These are the same damn fools, okay, that were carrying on about we can't overwhelm the healthcare system, yet they support open borders. If you're that stupid as a nurse, you certainly shouldn't be in at a leadership position. But they know what they went along with. I'm talking about the top. So, but they want to burn it down. That's why I say they know what they were going along with, to tank everything. Their role, the nursing profession, was to help tank the healthcare. It is. Otherwise they wouldn't have supported open borders, and many other things. Because they want to burn it down, because then somebody will come in and fix it. That's what worries me, is who's going to come in and fix it. Some union people that, because that's how it starts out, that maybe like with a union, maybe you and some people at work talk about getting a union, but you eventually have to go to the next step and call somebody that's a rep, right? That's where it all gets shitty, And I don't just mean with unions. That's the part that worries me, is who's going to come in and say, I'm just here to help. Let me help you fix it and put it back together, like the nursing association, whatever it is. That's what worries me, because that's the reason they want to destroy it and level it, so that they can build it back up and make it into their more sick, sinister system. So those are my two biggest worries, is who's going to come in and start rebuilding it. And they'll just say, yeah, I'm just an everyday person. And the people that don't go to jail, how do we keep them from infecting the system again?